Right now at 6, as wildfires grow across Oregon, we check in with the local firefighters sent in to help.
It definitely becomes a lot more real.
Plus, for the first time, see how investigators say an attack inside the Multnomah Athletic Club unfolded.
This was a legitimate car bomb.
And the mistakes by the perpetrator, they say, that prevented a much bigger disaster.
He could have caused a massive blast in there.
And the city in Oregon that just pressed pause on data center development.
The idea behind it was to prevent a rush of applications from data centers.
Our top story at 6, a surge in wildfires across the state, with the acreage now burned this season about 15 times the size of the city of Portland, with the state on pace to break an all-time record. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. Let's get a look at where things stand right now. Close to 1.4 million acres burned statewide. That's according to the Northwest Coordination Center dashboard. And we should note that number fluctuates as crews get a clearer picture of the wildfires that they're working on.
When it comes to damage, the Oregon State Fire Marshal confirms at least 28 homes and nearly 100 other buildings have now been lost.
Just thousands of crews there trying to slow the progress of the flames, getting help from out of state and the Portland metro area. Our Harley Coldiron has more from Hillsborough.
With more than 1 million acres of earth scorched in the state of Oregon, help is pouring in from all over the state to help with some of the most destructive wildfires, and that includes here in Hillsborough, right up the street in Banks, as teams just returned from central and eastern Oregon.
Thought of the first one, we might be headed home. We ended up at 2 more fires after that.
Hillsborough Battalion Chief Ben Tanner and Eric Keim, along with others, have just returned home after fighting several fires in central Oregon.
And after you interact with the community and chat with folks that their houses are either at risk or, even some that have lost homes, it definitely becomes a lot more real.
These images show Tanner and his crew racing to protect buildings as the fire flames quickly approach in central Oregon.
Clearing debris, clearing brush and grass away from the structures, trying to create kind of a barrier where if the fire came through, at least it'd be low intensity.
With the bench fire already burning down 6 homes and 5 outbuildings, much of the focus was on defending communities and important infrastructure. Combine that with low snowpack, dry conditions, and high heat.
They said they get 20 feet of snow normally. They had 2 inches this last year, so incredibly dry. Very fuel moisture is incredibly low.
Crime loves the work, but says it can be tough being gone for up to 2 weeks at a time.
My wife's taking care of the house. My daughter went to summer camp without me there. She was a little disappointed about that. I was disappointed not taking her to summer camp, but it was well worth it.
And though it's grueling, they say every resident was thankful for their time.
You can just sense the gratitude and the appreciation that folks have, and that's something I don't think you ever forget.
In rural Baker County, who basically said, I don't like paying taxes. I've never liked paying taxes. This is the first time in my life, though, I can see why I do.
The city of Banks also had an engine return along with the crew after helping battle these blazes, their 4th time assisting just this year. In Hillsborough, Harley Coldiron, KGW News.
A lot of teamwork, a lot of effort, Joe. It's thousands of first responders on the front lines. How's it looking in the fire zone right now?
It's not going to improve anytime soon. Although with that said, the air quality alert will be expiring by late tomorrow morning. This is where it's in effect through parts of the Mount Hood area and basically east. And it's going to be very thick along the Oregon-Idaho border. So if you think the alert lifts, it doesn't mean the smoke is cleared. It just means the conditions are improving slightly. It'll start to get a little bit better over in the high desert. Parts of Deschutes County has been just dealing with some nasty air quality the last couple of days. Right now, Madras, you're looking at unhealthy, but the more east you go, you're going to be looking at some very unhealthy categories. This is good, though. If you're over in the Central Oregon area, you're starting to see some green. That's something you really haven't seen the last couple of days. It's been kind of going ping-ponging back and forth between unhealthy and the moderate category. This is where it's going to get really extreme and not going to be improving. Will be parts of Burns and just east in the Pendleton area over the next couple of days. The winds will be a factor tonight. Near the gorge, we're already starting to see gusts anywhere from 35 to 40 miles an hour this afternoon, early part of the evening. But going into tomorrow, those winds will kind of subside a little bit and we'll see some calmer conditions. But again, one thing that crews need in the forecast is heavy rain. The one thing that have on their side, there's no fuels that are going to be coming in from the desert southwest. No thunderstorms are in the forecast, but hopefully crews can work over the next couple of days to get a handle on those wildfires that are burning out of control, not just across Oregon, but across the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, appreciate it, Joe. Thank you so much. Well, you know, we've shown you so many videos of the fires burning across Oregon, but sometimes it's the photos that really drive home what these crews are facing. Take a look. This first photo is from the Oregon Department of Transportation. It shows the Roe Creek complex fire burning along Highway 207. That crew member surrounded by flames. This next one, a photo taken inside the fire zone of the Akawa Butte fire, and it shows crews just working through that thick smoke as they protect homes in the path of flames. And then this third photo from the Bench fire, showing flames just creeping along the shoreline of the Deschutes River. Now, images like these show the people behind the response, the firefighters that are working those long hours, the crews as well that are sacrificing time with their families to be out on the fire line. But if you go and take a look at some of the video that's been shot at some of the communities in the area, you can see the love and support with signs near command posts and all along roadways. People telling these firefighters that they're grateful, they're sending them good vibes. So from us here at KGW, also to everyone working to protect Oregon, be safe. Thank you. David?
You know, we have information about all of these fires, including evacuations and current conditions right now on our website, kgw.com, and the KGW mobile app. I echo that. Thanks to all our first responders. In your headlines now, 2 more healthcare locations have been identified as potential measles exposure sites. The first is the ER at Randall Children's Hospital in North Portland. The Oregon Health Authority says a person with measles was there last Thursday and Friday nights, along with Saturday morning. The second spot is at Providence St. Vincent in the East Pavilion Medical Office. That exposure was Monday morning, yesterday. If you think you may have been exposed, you should reach out to your doctor ASAP. Let's take you to Seattle, where the Seattle Center Armory is back open 2 days after a deadly shooting turned a food festival into a crime scene. 3 people, including a suspected shooter, were killed Sunday evening when authorities say at least 3 people exchanged gunfire. 4 others, including a 2-year-old boy, were hurt. A 15-year-old suspect is in custody, and investigators are now calling the shooting a targeted gang-related attack. They're also trying to identify a possible 8th victim.
This person checked himself in with a potential gunshot wound. Due to legal barriers, we're unable to acquire the identity of this person. However, if you are that person, please reach out to us.
According to the King County Medical Examiner, those killed are 44-year-old Carlos Villalba, 56-year-old Ashley Whitehead, and 19-year-old Junior C. Simo, one of the suspects.
Well, police have arrested a wife they say was on the run after her husband was found dead in his home in Kaiser. 56-year-old Shelly Pekka was found off a Forest Service road in a remote part of Chelan County, Washington. She will now be extradited to Oregon on murder charges. Police were searching for her for more than a week, though initially they did not call her a suspect. Her husband is 59-year-old Walter Arthur Pekka. Authorities have not released the circumstances surrounding his death.
Lots of questions there. And in Portland, where police are investigating a deadly hit and run along Highway 26. Officers responding to the highway near the zoo just before 1:45 this morning, where they found a pedestrian dead, they say, and the driver gone. Eastbound lanes were closed for several hours. So far, police have not released the victim's identity or a description of the vehicle they're searching for. Anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police. New at 6, for the first time, we're getting a look at new video and a detailed account from investigators who responded after a former employee drove a car filled with explosives into the Multnomah Athletic Club.
Now, warning, some of the images are graphic and may not be appropriate for all viewers. Our investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi is here now with a new video and insight. Kyle.
In the days following the bombing, investigators said it was, quote, simply luck that we didn't have a larger blast after a disgruntled former employee drove a car packed with explosives into the MAC. We wanted to better understand that comment and put it into context. So we met with investigators, reviewed surveillance video, and combed through court records to get a better sense of just how bad this could have been. It's 2:45 a.m. on May 2nd when an SUV crashes through the front doors of the Multnomah Athletic Club. The black Nissan Rogue immediately turns right in the lobby, smashing through glass security gates. The driver seems to know where he's going, squeezing through a hallway before shattering the glass doors of a dining room. The vehicle creeps inside before coming to a stop. Through the curtains, you can see the red brake lights. For roughly 1 minute and 15 seconds, the SUV doesn't move. We see nothing. Then, a blast. Flames spill out the passenger side window. Seconds later, a bigger blast and fire. The room begins to fill with smoke. The explosion so powerful, it breaks the sprinkler heads off. Water rains down. 10 overnight workers are in the building. None of them hurt.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hello, this is a Mac at 1849 Southwest Main Street.
What's going on right
From what we know, a car drove through our front door and drove through the actual facility, crashed in, and is possibly on fire.
Firefighters respond, but quickly it becomes clear this is no accident. The SUV is packed with propane tanks.
This was a legitimate car bomb. This person intentionally drove a vehicle full of explosives into a building.
Portland Police Bomb Detective Meredith Hopper and Sergeant Jim Dufresne get the call in the early morning hours. There's been an attack using a rented SUV just hours after May Day protests in Portland. And the target, an exclusive athletic club.
When that first happens, people are getting woken up on the East Coast.
Hopper and Dufresne, along with 2 FBI bomb techs, go inside the evacuated building. The roof of the SUV has holes from an explosion. On the ground, remnants of an improvised pipe bomb.
And that was the first clue that it's like, okay, we have IEDs in this vehicle. This is a car bomb.
Body cam footage shows the propane tanks, roughly 25, that had been strapped down and covered inside the SUV. Investigators figure 6 pipe bombs went off, but 2 more are still live, waiting to explode.
Explosives want to go off when they're hot or hit or disturbed in some way. And so there was a very real chance that there was going to be another explosion.
Inside the charred vehicle, the driver is dead, a lighter in his lap. The video is redacted. You said this guy was sophisticated. What do you mean by that?
He knew, he had done research in how to build these things, and he had done a pretty good job of building these things.
Investigators also find nearly 30 pounds of unexploded binary, 2 harmless chemicals that turn explosive once they're mixed and triggered by impact. Amateur videos posted online with no connection to this case show what a few pounds of binary can do. This was 30 pounds.
He could have caused a massive blast in there that would have done some structural damage.
Simply put, investigators say they got lucky.
He had a number of devices, and some of those devices didn't function because of a slight slip up in the way that he put them together. And it was not a significant slip up. It was maybe you put glue someplace and you didn't put glue someplace, and so they weren't able to function.
Throughout the scene, there's also a mysterious pink-colored powder.
We actually found that powdered substance all in the car. It was mixed up in the binary explosives as well. I don't really know why.
Investigators think that same pink powder may have been used to dye chickens released in downtown Portland just before the attack. The suspect, Bruce Whitman, had done something similar, releasing pink chickens at Portland's South Waterfront almost a decade earlier. The 49-year-old struggled for years with documented mental health issues and was fixated on the Mac after his firing.
He believed that they were out to get him.
Investigators believe he drove back to that exact spot on purpose, near the kitchen where he used to work and where he knew the gas lines ran. Had those explosives gone off, they say, this story would have ended much differently.
There is so many things that happened here that just were lucky.
It took 3 days to clear this scene, and even that was risky. When investigators went to dispose of one of the pipe bombs, it exploded. No one was hurt. Investigators also searched Whitman's home. In it, they found all his receipts and packaging for the bomb components, neatly organized in a single box.
An incredible sequence of events and incredible evidence as well. Thanks, Kyle. Reminder, if you or someone you know is in crisis, help is available 24/7. You can contact the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by phone or text. The number is 988.